A mass of memories put into a song. And the thing will keep on turning on and on. On the surface of the wheel, we built another town. So the green of the teams came tumbling down.
I used to live on Cobham Terrace. It was by the graveyard. Now I remember the woman commenting on the dead as they went in, saying what nice people they were, or what they had got up to. When we were young, we would follow the cattle up Cross Street, where they were going to the slaughterhouse at the back of the High Street. The man would say, "Slap it, son," but we'd be worried that we'd hurt it. Mind then, we would stand and watch the cattle being skinned. The world then just felt big and amazing.
A mass of memories put into a song. And the thing will keep on turning on and on. On the surface of the wheel, we built another town. So the green of the teams came tumbling down.
My name's Jim Heppel. I've always been interested in photography, and I did a little bit before the war, but not much, because I didn't have the facilities. When I was away during the war, I bought myself a different camera, which wasn't good enough, but it did what I wanted, and it took stills. Then when I came back after the war, I bought myself some better equipment. Joined the camera club, which was the Washington Camera Club, and I'm married. I looked for a house and got this one in Ravensworth Terrace, mainly because I was getting pushed by my mother a bit. And I was only taking it for a week or two till I got settled. And I liked it that much, I just stayed. And I was in that house for about 20 years. And I joined the camera club. And I had a friend who worked with me. And he was also in the camera club. And we used to go around all over the place. He was older than me and he had retired a bit before me. But we used to get the bus. We used to go maybe up to Clarevale and walk up the river from Clarevale and over the river and work our way back down on the north side. We'd get the bus home through Newcastle.
A mass of memories put into a song. And the thing will keep on turning on and on. On the surface of the wheel, we built another town. So the green of the teams came tumbling down.
I used to like shepherds. There was 400 staff. Well, you knew everybody. Knew the managing director, you knew everybody. I was on the toys at Christmas and on one of the hard-me-own counter. And I used to be on the hardware during the other 9 months of the year, you know. I was on the gardening as well. So I've been around a bit. But I've always liked hardware shops, I still do. Don't ask us why, I just do. we used to have to put the money in your bill and everything in this holder, and it went up a chute.
Yeah, I used to
Right.
have to watch.
Yes,
Right
I
up to the
remember
bill.
when I
There
went
was
to shop.
there was cashiers in the office to take it out, and they sent it back with their change in and whatever. But more than enough, it got
Yes.
lost.
Oh,
We used to have some
they
really good.
fascinate me, those things
Uh-huh.
going across the
Used to make a noise
yeah.
like a sucking noise like that.
Matthew Robinson's had one and all.
Yeah.
ATM.
It was great when you had a ticket.
Well, I used to get a ticket.
Just get a ticket.
For an open
Pay
ticket.
for it weekly.
So I could get anything I liked. But I forgot what I was getting. And it used to be a fortune I used to owe.
You paid £2 a pound.
Uh-huh.
The lady on the hats was very snooty,
Oh yes.
I thought.
Oh well.
Thought she was posh.
A mass of memories put into a song. And the thing will keep standing on and on. On the surface of the wheel, we built another town. So the green of the leaves came tumbling down.
I went to the Adrian, which was after when it finished was Spa. It's still there, it's on Southwell Road, that one. They had them all over, you know, Mellon, Jarrett, all over. You could buy shoes, anything. I started Girls' Lane Shop about, that's up Sheriff about 3 weeks later. And I was there 12 years. I was going for a week. I used to go in the baking and I loved that. It's very interesting work. And I used to serve on the counter. I liked to meet people. The people were lovely up there. They were really nice. And it was a pleasure. I didn't mind at all. I used to take the orders till we got a chat with the van. But they were all on credit. All on tickets, the sailors.
A mass of memories put into a song. As the day keeps on turning on and on. On the surface of the wheel, they built another town. So the green of the trees came tumbling down. The green of the trees came tumbling down.
Was behind there. Can you remember the bench and pitch house? Behind there was those streets were like that, and we live in Donny Street, wasn't it?
We lived in Donny Street and
Like
we
that.
cobbled streets, but they were very
Steep.
steep. And if you got down, if you had a big pram, you could hardly push the pram up. And the houses themselves, they were ancient. The one we had, I mean, we were glad to take it because I'd just been married and there was nowhere else. And in the living room, the ceiling had come down in the, well, kitchen, as we used to say, had come down and fell on the man who was in before us. So they fixed that, but the kitchen, well, Scully is supposed to be, was just like a little cupboard. All you had in it was a gas stove
Gas stove.
and a little 2 planks of wood as a bench, so you could put your buckets of water on and your dish to carry the water out, because your water was all down in the yard and your toilets were in the yard, and it was really,
Really rough.
ancient, really rough, terrible.
Especially in the winter.
You had to we went out one day and the ragman came and pinched for a tap, so we were all flooded out the street. We had to walk down the bank to my sister-in-law who lived next door, because there were only 2 left in the street, and we had to go down to her mother's who lived on the bottom on St Cuthbert's Road and carry buckets of water back up again for when I wanted water. It was really, really rough.
Really rough.
My name's Margaret Dodd, and I was born in Benwell in Newcastle. When I was 5-year-old, I moved up to Playclaw, which I lived up until I got married. Anyway, I did meet Chris, in the back of a taxi, and we only courted for 7 weeks and we got married.
How I got into boxing was I wasn't always the problem. It was other lads at school that were the problem. So I say, right up.
Because you were little?
Aye, that's it, because I was little. And they used to pick on us, and I used to go in many a time with a bloody nose. My dad used to say, have you been bloody fighting again, lad? I say, it's not me. It is, it must be you come in with it all the time. So anyway, he got a hold of us this particular night and he marched us up to the gym, which was run by an old professional called Mickey Maguire. Started to get fights, the real thing. They started to put in for bigger bouts. I think the highlight was boxing at the Royal Albert Hall, because if you haven't been in and seen it, you're making a big mistake in life, because it's such a wonderful place. When you get inside of it, you don't just treat it as a whole. It's a magnificent place, and it's beautiful. It's all lit up, and the seats and the number of people it must hold is nobody's business. So I think that was my highlight in my boxing, apart from winning championships. You know, I really enjoyed that.
What's that on the picture there?
Vine Street Mission.
Yeah.
And that's where I lived, on that street. 4 doors down, wasn't it?
But like Vine Street Mission itself, that used to really be like the centre of everything, didn't it? But Sister Winifred as well, like years ago, from what like my grandmother told us, she used to, she'd go around like helping people, say like their husbands was like away in the war and things like that. And there was, of course, people had bigger families then and not a lot of money around, and in the pitmen strikes and things like that, she used to go and she used to take them like rabbits or chickens or something like that should get donated, so that they would be able to like make soup and cook and have things for their family, whereas basically they wouldn't have had nothing if it hadn't been for her. She would go around the shops like getting donations from all the shops and that around, and then she would help the people that didn't have anything. So she was a real nice woman. Obviously they're remembering her in the plaque and that there, but she's actually buried headstone to headstone with your mum, isn't she?
Yeah.
In Southwell
Cemetery. It was weird really that they got buried close, because there wasn't very much space between when they died, was there?
I don't think so. I think they died about the same year. People basically didn't have the things what they have now. So everybody sort of stuck together and they did things together.
And in the back then they would have games with the ball and things like that,
You would have the mothers in the summer weather, and they would all be out on the doorsteps, sitting on the doorsteps, and they would go out and they would get the skippy ropes out and they would like turn them while the kids jumped in and played in them and that, and the mothers would join in, they would be doing it as well and doing the hula hoops and things like that. And it was basically a better time altogether. Everybody was friendly, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
So what happened when we moved out to Old Vine Street? It was under compulsory purchase by the council, so they had to rehouse people, And our little block was more or less the last one.
Yeah.
That was left, wasn't it, to be rehoused?
That was where the mission was on the corner that we were there in.
Because if you notice on the photo where the rest's been sort of pulled down, And what happened was I was rehoused in this house down in Kelso Place, and I was in there about 3 years while they were rebuilding this estate.
And then when they rebuilt this estate, I had like put to be up here, and luckily I got here, you know, and this house is actually on the same spot as the house in Old Vine Street where I used to live and where I was brought up.
A mass of memories put into a song, and everything will keep us hanging on and on. On the surface of the wheel, we built another town, so the green of the teams came tumbling